Hi everyone, James Reynolds here, and welcome to a very brief introduction to public policy analysis, public involvement in decision making, and legitimacy theory, especially for transport engineers. So we'll be covering a lot of ground, but at a very high strategic level at the moment. So public policy approaches include the sort of thing that we're familiar with, the rational or optimizing approach, where it really is about searching for the best option. Institutionalism, which is more about policies and standards. Incrementalism, which is about how policy moves as a series of small steps. Political models, which is more looking at how decisions are made through a process of bargaining between stakeholders and politicians and other key decision makers. And then there's also the rather interestingly named garbage can model of public policy analysis. So as well as the five points that I've been talking about so far, the five sort of approaches, there's a whole load of other ways of looking at these sorts of things, a whole load of theories, models, processes and tools and approaches, all about trying to figure out how people and institutions and government organisations and the public at large make decisions and decide on policies. Fundamentally, all of these models are not like engineering models. They're not simulations, they're not traffic capacity models, they're instead frameworks to guide understanding and research. Frameworks so that you can think about them in a way. They're not trying to get a numerical answer out of them. So let's look at these sort of five major approaches to public policy analysis theory. There's many more, but let's just look at these five in detail. So you'd probably be very familiar in engineering to sort of this rational optimizing approach to making a decision. You'd determine a whole lot of options, you'd use some sort of model or evaluation criteria to evaluate them, and then you'd rank them 1 through 5, and then you'd select the one that performs the best on your indicators and your weighting. Very rational, very sensible. So on transport, we can have a lot of rational evaluation perspectives. We can look at it through traffic perspective. It's all about moving vehicles. We can look about mobility. It's all about moving people and goods. We can look at it through accessibility. It's all about moving people and making it so more of the city is available to us. In the case of transit, we can look at it through the transit operator. So, let's try and put in bus lanes so that it's easier to move the buses around and the transit operator doesn't have to have as many buses. Social equity, economic evaluation, and strategic objectives. These are all frameworks essentially through which to do your rational evaluation. Essentially, what is the objective that you're trying to get, and what are you going to judge each different option on. It's all very nice, and that's very much how engineers think, but in the real world, politics, stakeholders, political decisions, institutions, this isn't necessarily how it works out. Yeah, probably the issue we've had is that in transport, we do tend to very much focus on the techno-rational models. We look very much at making a better model, a better traffic simulation, a better thing that will give us a closer quantitative answer to the real world. But in the real world, it's politics, it's power, it's legitimacy and resources that help drive some of these decisions, not necessarily the most economic or most efficient solution. It's very easy to get lost in the techno-rational details, where you get really excited about technology, and you get really excited about making something that's the most rational, the most efficient solution. And we're seeing this right now in automated vehicles. I'm amazed. My car drove me practically all the way home. It was great, this wonderful piece of technology. And then, this point from Anthony Ryan. Yeah, the bus does that as well. The bus drives me home too. I don't have to drive it. And so rather than spending all this time and effort, wondering about automated vehicles, maybe we should just buy more buses and drive them more often. But that doesn't sort of fit with the techno-rational narrative of efficiency and technology and all of that sort of stuff that we quite often see.